Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents the War Room. And, of course, you got the Coco crew here holding it down live. First, you got yours truly, the sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, Boom Boom here, second room, live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. And, of course, joining me to my left here, way across the pond, over there in beautiful, sunny England. I know it's always cloudy, but I figured that'd be funny. We're talking about straight from Smark and Mark Radio. We're talking about LK. What's up, buddy? Great to see you again.
Andrew, where were you last week, you little skiving bastard? Where were you?
Well, I was here last week for the War Room. I just had my work schedule thrown off, so only watched one show. And then after, I know you're talking about NXT TakeOver, I was actually working. I worked overnight, so I worked the graveyard shift in Richmond. So I was calling into the show, you know. I saw you. By the way, okay, how's your back?
My back? Why? My back's brilliant. I've got a very, very nice, comfy chair here. Very, very nice and comfy chair.
That's good, because I know you were carrying Dave those 2 hours, so I was worried, about just the condition of your spine. But
no, that's why I had to upgrade my damn chair. Fucking bastard. He can pay for the charging fee.
Well, it's the middle of the week. It's time for the War Room. Wednesday night, 3 companies went to war. And, LK, I got to ask you, between NXT, Ring of Honor, and Impact, which one of the companies do you believe won the war this week?
As a show overall, I'm going to go with Ring of Honor. Should I go win-loss tie? I'll go ROH win, very strong win. I thought it was a very strong show. Mm-hmm. NXT, weak win. Yeah. TNA, very strong tie. Depending on your mood, very, very weak win. Like, I can see if you put it in weak win. I could see if you put it in strong tie. But to me, ROH, then NXT, then TNA. Me personally, I think all 3 of these shows were all over the map. I mean, there was a lot of positives, a lot of negatives. There was something about each show that I liked, and then there was some stuff that I just really didn't like. And so to me, all 3 of these companies were kind of running neck and neck. I think I'm going to give the win overall this week to NXT solely because I loved the Brooklyn crowd. I'm going to give it a weak win. Ring of Honor, I'm going to give them a weak win too because I really, really, really love their main event. And I'm still going to go tie with TNA. I like the 4-way match. There were some things I didn't like, but I tell you what, since you said Ring of Honor is going to win, let's start out with that one. And real quick, we need to look at the ratings. Of course, this is according to Nielsen. Wednesday's episode of Ring of Honor on Destination America drew 149,000 viewers. That's up from 145,000 last week. So pretty good right there. And since people are wondering about, and people are going to want to bring this up, Impact. They drew, this was before Ring of Honor, they drew 279,000. That's actually down from 323,000 last week. So both, you got to admit, both of them are impressive numbers, but there can only be one as far as winners goes. So let's take a look at Ring of Honor television. Of course, there were 3 matches on there. First, you had the Briscoes taking on the it was the Bloodhound Warriors. Bloodbound Warriors.
Yes, Bloodbound Warriors. Excuse me. Bloodbound Warriors. Then you had Roderick Strong versus Donovan Dijak, and then in the main event you had the Addiction put the tag team titles on the line against Future Shock. Of course, that's the tag team of Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So all in all, looking at this, okay, here's my impressions of this. And since you liked it, maybe you can tell me where I'm right or where I'm wrong. I did not like the opening match. I think the Bloodbound Warriors looked absolutely ridiculous. Like they came through the curtain. I automatically hated them. I'm not a huge fan of the Briscoes to begin with because I just trust. Okay, I'm from Alabama, and even I'm saying they're too goddamn redneck. Okay. So but I think it was an okay match, and luckily it was mercifully short. Then the next one, Roderick Strong and Donovan Dijak. I liked it. I just wish they would do more with Donovan Dijak. I know where they're going with this because Ring of Honor is promoting the rematch between Roderick Strong and Jay Lethal, because they went to that 60-minute time limit draw. There's obviously going to be a rematch. And so, and then plus they want to bring out the House of Truth to try to slow down Strong. So I like that. And I was like, I wish they would do more with them, but I understand where they were going. And I absolutely love the main event. I like the Addiction. I like Future Shock. Tag team titles on the line. I think I think they did a great job. I think it was a great episode of Ring of Honor, and I would recommend people check it out. But LK, tell me, what do you thought were the strong points, and where do you think some of the weaknesses were?
I completely agree about the weaknesses of the opening tag match. I wasn't that keen on it. First time ever seeing these Bloodbound Warriors jabrones. But people, you said you didn't really like them. People on the old Twitter machine, they were very happy to see more gimmicky, characteristic, more wrestlers like that. I'm different. When I watch Ring of Honor, I don't want to see people like him hit them, and I don't want to see the Briscoes. I'm sorry, Briscoes, I keep saying this every week, the Briscoes are the most overrated pieces of shit to ever grace professional wrestling. Screw Cena, I hate them more. I hate the Briscoe brothers more than I hate John Cena. I hate, Bull Dempsey or the Briscoes. I don't know. I generally don't know. Anyway, awful. Didn't really enjoy the match. It continues the Adam Page, Jay Briscoe, which happened a few weeks ago, so they're continuing that. They're going on next week. Could be an okay match. Not really that looking forward to it, but could be good. Dijak, Strong. I get your point about Dijak, but with Ring of Honor, they have the top prospect tournament at the start of every year. And if you look back, I mean, you got Bennett, look at him now. Matt Taven, look at him now. Hansen, look at him now. Yeah, they just got to pay their dues a bit, and then Dijak will start to move up the ranks. But I can see where you're coming from. It was an okay match, nothing special, but what I liked about it is going into the match, you thought, okay, this is a squash, Strong's getting the win. But, I mean, there were several near falls, like Dijak hit that lovely discus big boot a couple of times, which I thought was it. Mm-hmm. And then they continued the War Machine, which is the Hansen versus Lethal with the beat down at the end. I thought that was very, very good. And then in the main event, that was just a great tag match. I mean, Future Shock, Adam Cole, Carter-Salinas, probably one of the most underrated teams. I mean, when everyone talks about the greatest teams, I do think that team launched O'Reilly into the main event of PWG and Cole into the main event of Ring of Honor. I also loved how they came out to their old Future Shock song. They didn't come out to... Yeah, I was very happy with that.
Yeah, great throwback, absolutely. And plus, and I love how they did that story where they made everybody look good. You had, thanks to the interference from the Kingdom, you could have said that, okay, boom, right there, Future Shock should have won the Tag Team Champions because they had Kazarian tapping out. In fact, actually, they won it twice. They had another roll-up, but again, the Kingdom, and then Cole went after his teammates, leaving Kyle O'Reilly. Man, what do you think about Kyle O'Reilly now? I mean, you had... one of the things Ring of Honor likes to do, and I support this because New Japan's the other company that does this too. They'll take tag teams that are good, and they'll kind of make individual stars out of the tag team. And unlike WWE, they won't go through this lame storyline breakup. They'll keep them strong. I mean, Adam Cole is an example of that. What do you think about Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish? I mean, they're actually kind of progressing as singles wrestlers, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, Fish has always been a good one. I mean, he did a tour back in 2008 for Pro Wrestling Noah over here in the UK, and I remember being very impressed with him. Kyle O'Reilly, I mean, in my opinion, the launch of his singles career started at the Best of Super Juniors this year. That tournament where he faced Kushida in an absolutely incredible match. And if no one's seen that listening to this, please go out of your way, watch it. It's worth the price of New Japan World. It's only a few months ago, so you don't have to look very hard. I don't know, I very like your point. I do like your point. If this was WWE, they would have done Fish and O'Reilly beating each other up and having a match at the next pay-per-view. I'm happy they're not doing that because the positives out of doing that is you can always, if the push doesn't work for the single star, they can always go back to the tag team. Which, just think of it. If Crime Time, they went their separate ways. Imagine if Crime Time, they failed miserably and embarrassingly. But they could still be a team today. Look at the Dudleys, always back as a team if things go wrong. The Hardys, always back as a team as when things go wrong. And that's what I think they're going to do with Red Dragon. Unfortunately, it will not happen with the Young Bucks. But the Addiction, again, when Daniels wants to go singles, he goes singles. When he fails, he goes back to the Addiction. And that's the way tag team wrestling should work, but that's not the way our WWE works, and you know that as well as me.
Oh, absolutely. I think here's what happened. It worked one time. And of course, the one time I'm talking about was the Rockers. they had Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty together. Well, WWE, or at the time WWF, noticed something about Shawn Michaels, so they were wanting to split them up. So they did this huge breakup angle, and of course, Marty Jannetty gets super kicked and thrown through the glass window at the barbershop window. Everybody was just stunned because here was a tag team. They came up together from the AWA into the WWF, have been tag team champions, have been making, headliners, and boom, here's this huge split. And when they saw that, WWE tries to recreate that moment every time. And every time they've tried it, it has flopped. Most recently, they did that with the Primetime Players. They split up Titus O'Neil and Darren Young because fuck it, why not? And then, well, after I think it was Darren Young gets injured, they did nothing. And they did absolutely nothing with Titus O'Neil. In fact, they put him in a tag team with Heath Slater. They made Slater Gator. And here's my question: if you're going to I noticed these there's a tag team, and both these guys are good. And I want to split them up and make single stars out of them. Why is it if I'm going to split? That's the whole point. I'm splitting them up is to make single stars. Why the fuck do I want to put them in a different tag team? That makes no sense whatsoever. And they did that with Primetime Players, and then finally Darren Young comes back, and they're like, "Okay, all's forgiven. We're back together as a tag team now." Okay.
Do you remember even a few years before that with Morrison and Miz, they did the storyline of them actually being Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty? They generally did that storyline I think it was the summer, and they kept doing vignettes about it. Oh, dude, come on.
But where do you think they're going Where do you think they're going with this from here? Where do you think Ring of Honor goes with this one?
I think depending on results of the TV title match at All Star Extravaganza and the world title match, it could go either way. I mean, if they both lose, then I can picture Red Dragon being a tag team full time again. But I mean, I can imagine Fish getting the TV title. I could really can imagine Fish with the TV title, and I reckon Cole will join O'Reilly for Future Shock, and then those two teaming up to take on the Kingdom for one of the big final battle matches. That's what I'm expecting. To be perfectly honest.
That is good. And I'll say this about Ring of Honor's tag team division right now. By the way, you beat me to the punch. I was going to say, who do you think's going to unseat Jay Lethal, and you just answered that question. But back to Ring of Honor. Their tag team division is probably the strongest it's been probably ever. Look at how many tag teams they've got. I mean, you've got The Addiction, you've got Red Dragon, now you're teasing Future Shock, you got the Kingdom, you got War Machine, you got the Briscoes. You've got enough stock in there. Well, technically you have the Decade, when BJ Whitmer gets healed. You've got a ton of good talent in there. So props to ROH for definitely stepping up their game.
The way I see this is they probably have the same amount of teams as WWE, which is incredible considering the depth of the roster. But it's how good the teams are is what's important. And any one of those teams you mentioned, you wouldn't be complaining if they were tag team champions. That's how great this division is. And I will say this right now, they have the best tag team division in the world, period. Probably the best tag team division in the last decade at least. Honestly, it is very, very good. And very, very good. And I hope they continue it. I hope they don't do what WWE does and split them up.
All right. Real quick, we're going to do some questions, do some comments here. So get your stuff in just down here in the comment section. Get it to us. We're going to be here all night long, or at least as long as it takes. First, I want to thank Young Kai and Vandal, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name, Vandal, because I will butcher that, and I have got too much respect for you. But props to both of you guys because you're watching on Google+. I'd like to thank Jeff for liking us on Facebook. And let's see, LB Clash of Kings. He says, have you guys seen Ring of Honor uploading Women of Honor matches on their YouTube channels? The women there are choosing, I'm not going to say bad, but ROH needs a developmental for them before ROH tries to put a women's division on television. LK, have you seen it? Because I have not.
No, I honestly, I'm subscribed to the YouTube channel and I haven't seen it pop up. I mean, for Field of Honor, I've bought that from the RH Wrestling website. If you use RHWrestling.com and you really do buy lots of iPay-per-views, I really recommend you becoming a Ringside member. It's an extra $7 a month, but you get about, I think originally Field of Honor was $20, but it then got dropped because I'm a Ringside member to $14.99. But if you put that in English pounds, you're looking at about £9 for a pay-per-view. And that I'm paying £7.99 is about £5, so I'm paying £5 a month, and I'm getting £5 off, £5 off, £5 off, £5 off the iPay-view. So in theory, I'm saving a lot of money. So then again, if you people out there, they don't really promote this, do they? They don't promote the ringside member. I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it until I clicked it, and they give you access to all their video on demand. So anything before 2013, you have for free. So you really do get a good deal out of it. And back to the question, no, I didn't know it, and I'll give that a watch when we're finished with this, because I have some time to kill before NXT TakeOver tickets come out.
Huzzah! And here's a question for you. Okay, do you think right now, particularly NXT, has sent a trend right now that they've kind of tapped into this market that nobody really knew existed? Is that wrestling fans also want to see good women's wrestling? They want to see, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be room for eye candy. Yes, there's always going to be a room for valets and busty women, but they also want to see women's wrestling. Do you think that time has arrived now where it's like, whoa, here's a resource we haven't been tapping into? Do you think that time is now that, that NXT, kind of stepped forward and said, okay, here it is, and now the other companies are taking notice and are like, okay, yeah, we could do that too? Do you think like the time of serious women's wrestling is here?
Yes and no. I don't think that'll happen on the main roster. I'm sorry, I don't. No matter how much they push these 3 teams, I don't think it's going to work. They need to split them up. I say have it contention between the ranks, saying, oh, I want a shot at Nikki Bella, I want a shot at Nikki Bella, slap, 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 give yourself some good matches. But I don't know, because, now with Sasha Banks promptly moving up to the main roster, you look at the NXT women, we'll talk about the NXT women in a bit, but there isn't that much. There really isn't that many decent workers. I mean, once we said this, but I was worried about this for NXT from the start with the men, and I feel that they've kind of replaced the men, kind of, but with the women, because they were 4 really special women, unless they keep the women down there, I can just see this being a flop, and these women going back to being lower mid-card, which I don't want to see. I really don't want to see it, but I can just picture it happening. By December for TakeOver UK, we'll be back to women's matches for piss breaks. I hate saying it, but that's what it'll be. Promise. Fact. Bold prediction.
Well, that's definitely a bold prediction. So, kids, fact or fiction, the women's revolution in WWE will fizzle out come December. So down here in the comment section, tell me what you think, fact or fiction. All right, here, LB Clash of Kings, he also writes, you know what, for the first time ever, I'm going to say all the shows this week stepped up their game. This was a very good week in pro wrestling, from Raw to TNA to NXT to Ring of Honor. All of them were good shows this week, in my opinion, so I ranked them all tied at number 1 this week between all 4 shows. Honestly, I can see that. I don't think there was any shows that were particularly, just god-awful and unwatchable. I mean, yeah, there were things that I liked about all the shows and things I hated about all the shows. So, yeah, I can understand how we came to that.
That's fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
All right, you ready to move to the next one here? We ready to talk some NXT?
Let's do it.
All right, going into NXT, of course, this was taped before TakeOver in Brooklyn. Let's see, we had a huge 8-man tag match. We had Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy teaming up with the Hype Bros, taking on Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. Also, Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, 8-man tag match. The good guys got the win on that one. Ava Marie defeated Carmella. We'll get to that one in a second. Grab onto something and buckle yourself in. Elias Sampson took on Bull Dempsey. And I have to say that because he's just like, fuck me, I got to review a Bull Dempsey match. And then a huge shocker, and of course we're going to get to why this was a shocker for all the wrong fucking reasons here. Emma won a fatal 4-way match against Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Dana Brooke. But anyway, starting out with the huge 8-man tag. LK, I mean, what did you think? I mean, do you think the energy was there? Do you think the crowd is? Do you think the matches are what made this NXT episode so good, or do you think it's the matches? What made it? Was the crowd or crowd of the matches?
With this 8-man tag, it is the crowd. I mean, I generally got goosebumps when I heard the Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy pop. That was ridiculous. Like, no, I can't remember a pop like that since the Dudley Boys returning on Monday Night Raw. Generally, that's how good the pop was. It's just, and one thing, shout out New York, New Jersey area, wherever the fuck Brooklyn is, I don't care. Ryder and Mojo's entrances, you could hear crickets. I like that a lot. And there was "We Want Enzo" chants when Zack Ryder was in the ring. I'm going to use a Dave Coker line here. Everyone who was in attendance, give yourself a Barry Horowitz. Thank you very much. Jeez, the match was the match was okay. It was just I just didn't care. Like if you won, it's like I talk about TNA about not caring, but this to me, it was okay, fun opener. Okay, I'll give it that. It was a fun opener. The crowd was electric, but I do admit I did like Wilder and Dawson's finisher. They hit it's like a 3D, but instead of the cutter, he kind of hit a lung blower. It was during the end of the match. I really was a big fan of that, and I kind of like them. They're kind of like, do you remember Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch from a few years ago? I think they're kind of like them. I think that could be.
Yeah, I like their. I wish they would give them like a name other than just Dash and Dawson. I think so, one name that they were kicking around were the Mechanics, which makes sense because their finishing maneuver is called the Shatter Machine. So I mean, it kind of makes sense. My only complaint about this match is I wish it was longer. I mean, they had the good feel good. The hometown boys won. Good showing all around. Let me ask you this about Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. Now, these two have been working dark matches with, I think it was either on Raw or SmackDown. I can't remember, but they've been working. I think they called them like Team Soft at one point. Do you think, looking at them, I know charisma-wise, they're ready to go. I mean, they're huge, they're over, they're fun, they're very entertaining, they're a great duo. But do you think talent-wise, do you think Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy are ready to move up to the main roster?
I can answer that one simple question. Do you think Amore and Cassidy would be accepted in Ring of Honor as wrestlers? No, they wouldn't be. There's no way. So they're not. But then again, look at Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. All due respect, Billy Gunn I think is a great worker. Road Dogg isn't that great. But because of their charisma, they got mega over and could be one of the greatest tag teams of all time, depending on your opinion of the Attitude Era. So I think they could go up. They should have done it on Monday. But I think, personally, the Dudleys took their spot. I think that spot was meant to be for Amore and Cassidy, but the Dudleys took the spot instead. And I'm okay with that. That they're going to be at the Barclays Center again. They have to do it at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. They have to do it. This pop gave me goosebumps, this NXT. Imagine that on Raw. The electricity for Raw will be a lot higher. They have to do that in Brooklyn. Don't waste it, please. Don't give it away on the night after WrestleMania because the smarky fans are saying we want Amore. Don't do that. Just save it and just build them up. Get some video packages of Amore cutting some promos. I don't know. I didn't really enjoy the match though. I'll be honest. Apart from the ending, and they kept on advertising subscriptions to the network on this show. About 2 times. Become a member. Did you know what I mean? During this match, there was an advert of us to become a subscriber to the network. And I'm sat there watching that on the network thinking, wait a minute, you pay for Netflix for no adverts. You pay for Sky On Demand for no adverts. You pay for the WWE Network for no adverts, and you get adverts. It's so frustrating. It really, really is. But, should we move on to the next one? Eva Marie Carmella.
Well, real quick, I just got to ask this question. With the Dusty Rhodes, Memorial Tag Team Tournament coming up, which to me it sounds very similar to and Russell and Ranton brought this up. This sounds very close to the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup, where this was back in the Smoky Mountain days. What they did was they didn't have just the tag teams. They would put some random pairings up together, but they would also bring in tag teams from around the world in. Do you think that they should have maybe saved like the tag team title shot for whoever wins this?
Maybe they'll do that next month. Maybe
It's just anyway. Going to the next one here. Carmella versus Eva Marie. Now, first I'll give props to NXT for finally getting Carmella over because like 6 months ago, like earlier this year, she was getting booed. I mean, she was physically out there with Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy and was getting booed. So I'll give props to NXT for finally getting her over. I think she got a few boos, but nowhere near what she used to get. And then Eva Marie. LK, I know you're about to be vicious on her, so I'm just going to go ahead and speak my piece, and then I'm going to take I'm actually. Oh, okay. I was going to say I'm going to take the chain off you here and let you have at it. Ava Marie, I will say this: she is getting better. I've seen some improvement between then and now, but and this is just my observation: is it? She just both of these women. It was just the whole match was blocky. It was like you could tell like the sequences they were going through because they would wrestle, they do like a sequence, and they would stop, then they would lock back up, do another sequence, stop. Go into another sequence, stop. Like you could see literally just the A, B, C, D where they were playing this match out. It just seemed like they were just, particularly Ava Marie was just uncomfortable. It's like if I could tell her anything, I would just say, "Honey, relax, just breathe." I mean, it's just like she was so hesitant to do things in that ring, like get slung into the ropes or into the turnbuckles or throw like a punch or something. She seemed kind of like she was holding back, just kind of hesitant. So, and I'm just like, I think somebody needs to tell her, look, just relax. You need to go out there. Don't go out with reckless abandon, but go out there and just have a good time. I mean, go out there and it's just like I think it's a mental game with her at this point. But at least that's my impressions that I got, and I do like her new finisher, sliced red #2 that she got from the Brian Kendrick. So I'm a huge fan of that. But what were your impressions of it? I mean, am I completely off base, or do you see my point?
You're not off base. It did look like you're watching a trainee match. It generally did, but at the same point, if she's worried for mucking up because the fans already shitted her enough, imagine if she fucked up. Imagine if she fucked up. That crowd would have not only killed her, but they would have buried her as well at the same time, because honestly, that crowd they shouldn't have sent her out. They should not have sent her out. Okay, it's some experience in front of 16,000 people, but at the same time, they knew the crowd were going to shit all over her. At least at Full Sail, you got a couple of hundred fucking hippos. Here, you got 16,000 of them, and they're pumped, and they are proper wrestling fans. They're going to shit all over her. But, she has potential to use that heel heat. Get her very good in the ring. That heel heat could be used. She could be the biggest heel in the fucking... Imagine this. So you got Sasha Banks, who is over. Turn her babyface. Eva Marie, biggest heel the business probably has ever seen when it comes to females. That match wouldn't main event Mania. Eva Marie train. Get her. That could be a Mania match. I would pay good money to see a big babyface versus a big heel, no matter what division it is. And that could work, but I mean, they chanted "You can't wrestle," and her performance wasn't that bad. I honestly feel that her performance wasn't that bad, and I hope she keeps her chin up because she didn't do that bad, and I can't believe I just praised her because I'm saving it.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this then: was Ava Marie's performance not bad because either A, she's actually been working and been trying hard and training and is actually getting better, or is it B, because we've just set the bar so low for her that as long as she doesn't fall flat on her face, she's doing a good job?
No, I'm looking at her from the last time I saw her wrestle, as in from WWE nearly a year ago now. Looking at how far she's come, I think she's done a good job. I mean, she's got that decent entrance going for her. She's not the most charismatic person I've ever seen in my life, but she's a heel. She gets the heel heat.
Honestly, I don't think she's a heel, and I say that with Kate. Yes, I know the crowd boos her. I know people can't stand her. But I think from an actual presentation point of view, I don't think she's a face. I don't think she's a heel. I think they just put her out there, and WWE's doing this intentionally. They're just like, okay, just put her out there and let her wrestle. And the fan, it's like we don't have to tell the fans that she's a face or she's a heel. They're gonna boo her, and they're just having fun with it. At least in my opinion, that's what it looks like they're doing.
All she needs to do is go out there, have one fucking incredible performance, and they'll cheer her forever. And that will be the moment that turns it around for her. She just needs to find that opponent. She needs to find the place, and she needs to do it. No sitting on your ass, no worrying, no thinking, oh, what if the crowd boo me? The crowd are going to boo you. Bust your ass off, work hard, and you will be rewarded. In the end, you will be rewarded.
Yeah.
Simple as
that.
Because
I said at the beginning of this year, after I saw the training video between Brian Kendrick and her, they put a video out of those two wrestling, and then they came on and I said, you know what, I got to give her props for, realizing she was horrible and wanting to do something about it instead of just getting by on her looks. So I had respect for that. And I said, but if you really want people like me to shut the fuck up, you're gonna have to shut me up. You're gonna have to shut all our mouths. And for you to do that, you have to get out there and you have to bust your ass. And you have to show us. And I think she's taken a step in the right direction. She's not there yet, but I think she's taken a step in the right direction. All right, real quick here from LB Clash of Kings. He says, about the Divas Revolution phasing out by December, I'm going to say yes on the main roster, but NXT roster might still be the same or step up their game. I can see Kevin Dunn getting in Vince's ear on how to book the women on the main rosters. I heard Kevin Dunn not a fan of putting over any of Triple H's NXT stars, so that could be the big reason why the Divas will be phased out by December. I can believe that. Oh, by the way, I guess now is a good time to mention this as any, but Dave Meltzer is actually reporting that WWE has signed Kana. That is a Japanese women wrestling star. And since the cat's out of the bag, I'll tell you what, let me get to the end of this review here, and then I'll tell you what I think they need to do with Kana and as far as like the women go. Next, we had Elias Sampson. You know, he's coming out as the Drifter gimmick, taking on the new and improved Bull Dempsey. And guys, okay, I know you didn't like this, and you know what? I didn't like it either. But let me tell you why. Okay, first of all, Elias Sampson, I kind of like the whole Drifter gimmick. You know, I kind of like that. You know, he comes out with a guitar, got some dollar bills in it. You know, he goes from town to town. Okay, he's a wrestler. That makes sense. It's what he does. Wrestlers, they go drift from town to town. They do their thing. But Elias, don't bring a guitar out unless you can play it. That's just one of my pet peeves. Don't bring guitar out unless you can play it. Don't bring a whip out unless you can crack it. Don't bring anything out that you can't use because the audience will pick up on it quickly. Now, as far as Bull Dempsey goes, I think this fell flat, and let me tell you why. The whole bullfit gimmick, you know, when they were doing the fat shaming, I completely just lost it because I'm like, you cannot tell me your company that says, you know, be a star, you know, we're against bullying, and then fat shame somebody, even if it's part of a storyline. And then they show him working out and, you know, digging down deep, and it looks like an 80s montage. Remember when Ricky Steamboat was training and fighting midget ninjas or whatever it was he was fighting? And I was like, okay, maybe they're trying to take a negative and turn this into a positive here. They're going to make him look face now. Okay, and then he goes out there after all this training. He looks the exact same. He doesn't look like he's lost any damn weight. He hasn't even gotten a tan. He's not cut his hair. He has done nothing to alter his appearance. And I'm like, NXT, come on. You cannot tell me here's a guy, you know, oh my God, he's out of control. His eating, you know, he's got an eating disorder. He's got a problem here. Oh, but now he's going to turn his life around on his own. He's going to work hard, exercise, and then bring out the same fat fucking sack of shit that we've been seeing since he fucking debuted. And he wrestled the exact same. Oh no, he didn't wrestle the exact same match. He hulked up. He hulked up. And you know, and I'm trying to, and I want, you know, and I don't want to hate people. I don't want to like boo people. You know, I want to boo people for the right reasons. I don't want to boo people because they suck. And it's like Bull Dempsey, man. I love you, brother, man, but I think it's just time to endeavor him because I'm just like, you just changed him to a good guy. You killed what little credibility he had left. And so, R.I.P. Bull Dempsey, your career. LK, your take on it.
They showed the Cena 500th wish, showed that Make-A-Wish. They showed that before this. That's the video page got written down here. And next thing you know, you see Bull Dempsey come out. And I'm thinking, oh my Jesus, is he going to do this bullfit gimmick? He comes out, he keeps smashing his stomach, implying, look at me, I'm a fat bastard. I'm sat there thinking, so you make your company look, oh, look at us, we're so great. We have Be a Star, we have Make-A-Wish, look at us, we're great companies. And then you see Bull Dempsey go out there, disking himself because he's overweight. That is filthy. That is dirty. They should be ashamed of themselves, honestly. That is filthy. The match, Bull Dempsey, I don't know why you have a job. I don't know why you continue this career of professional wrestling. You're only hindering, I guess you're there to make a paycheck. If so, good job. If not, please leave. You have no talent. You're a worthless piece of shit who doesn't deserve to step in that ring. You shouldn't have been on this TV show. Elias Sampson, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're in the ring with Bull Dempsey. That means I don't like you. Honestly, I'm fucking ashamed to say I watched that shit.
Guilt by association, but okay, didn't I tell you got to do a better job of expressing yourself?
I'm English. It's hard. Like, for instance, sarcasm. People have said like you don't get the sarcasm because when we say sarcasm, when we say it to each other, we say it in our normal voices because then it's fucking hilarious. Like we find it hysterical. But when you're talking to other people and you're being sarcastic, they don't know what you're fucking talking. They just think, oh shit, he's being serious. No, I hate Bull Dempsey with a passion. Bullshit Dempsey is bullshit, and he doesn't deserve to be on that roster. I would rather have ZZ come out, who is one of the most unpassionate pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life, than this guy. Honestly, did you watch Tough Enough?
No, but then again, who did?
I watched it on the YouTube. I was up at that time, and honestly, I've never seen a guy in my life who's been there for the money. Honestly, this ZZ fella. They were going through matches, you know. They were going through the matches like with Jericho in the barracks. They called it, like the barracks, and they're sat there. It's a round table.
More like the bollocks.
Anyway, they're sat on the table, and Jericho's going, "What's your favorite match?" You know, some of them come up with some good ones. Then you have ZZ. My favorite match was Triple H versus Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rule. I'm like, dude, you just watched that on the network, didn't you? You just watched that on the network. Like, you tell me your favorite match, yeah? You aren't gonna say 2013 match, are you? No. It's not going to be that. It's going to be an old classic because you're a hardcore wrestling fan or an old school wrestling fan. This guy claims to be 20 years old, which is older than me. He's 1 year older than me, and the jabron, you know, doesn't know anything. Yet he's there, and people like Patrick, who's the trained professional wrestler there, is not. It just, they're such a bullshit company that produce bullshit like Bull Dempsey, and oh Jesus, please just fire him. The day he gets fired, I'm gonna come on here and Internet Infantry can have a full group party. Let's fucking get rid of this piece of shit. Oh damn.
By the way, that was a great Southern accent. I love that right there. That whole ZZ impression. Bravo, sir. Give yourself a Barry Horowitz. LB Clash of Kings, he says, I got a feeling WWE's keeping Bull Dempsey in WWE because they're waiting on pairing him up with ZZ from Tough Enough, and they'll probably win the NXT tag title. The sad thing is, I can see that happening.
The thing is, the competition here, the three judges, Booker T, Billy Gunn, and Lita, they picked 13. They didn't pick ZZ, but Triple H said, no, I want ZZ in there because someone got injured, aka paid to fuck off. So that way, you know, they want ZZ. They wanted ZZ to win, but it was a fan vote. That's why the other guy won. I actually thought the other guy had a good match with Cesaro. I honestly think Cesaro can have a good match with a broomstick, but, you know, he looked okay. And I think, you know, after a year, will he get re-signed? No, but Sarah Lee won't make it through a year. She'll take the money and fuck off. So,
well, with the exception of John Morrison, originally was John Hennigan, who then became Johnny Superstar, who then became Johnny Ace, then who became Johnny Spade, then became Johnny Nitro, and then became John Morrison. He's the only one that worked out as far as Tough Enough goes, because everybody else fucking fizzled. Chris Nowinski got concussion injuries, had to retire. Maven got fired. Nitty, a contract ran out. The last guy, I think it was like 2011. I think he was only on the Andy Levine. Thank you. I think he was only on the roster for 3 months. Then he violated the wellness policy, and then he got told to fuck off.
If you remember, that whole season was, I'm gonna do it for my kids. I'm gonna do it for my kids, and then he wins and then gets fired for 3 months for doing drugs. You fucking idiot. Oh yeah, your kids are gonna be proud of you, you fucking muppet.
I mean, his never. Guy. There was the Jackies. There was Jackie Gata. She's the one who became like Shaniqua. She teamed up with the Bashams. They had this whole dominatrix gimmick, which I think was a little uncomfortable, but okay. But she was cool, man. She had she was tiger suplexing men. You know, I watched her do that shit live. That was pretty impressive. But why that didn't work out? And then the other Jackie, I think her only notoriety was she married Charlie Haas. She met Charlie Haas there, got married to him, and I think the only reason she kept her job as long as she did was because she was not shy about showing the girls, if you know what I mean, and I think you do, because she had take two wardrobe malfunctions. She had those several times. Like she would like, oop, you know, there it is, and like, oh, cover up, like, oh no, and people were watching those matches just to see if they could catch a nip slip. But you know, but that's the legacy you've got to live up to, kids. Oh, setting the bar ever so high. Let's see, next year. Oh, here's the Fatal 4-Way match, the women's Fatal 4-Way match. This match is kind of infamous because it fucked up, but I think but even in the fuck up, I think it turned out better than what should have happened. you had Charlotte versus Becky Lynch versus Dana Brooke versus Emma. Now, for those of you kind of scratching your head going, well, what was the fuck up? The match was not supposed to end the way that it did. Basically, the bad guys were taking control. Dana Brooke was thrown to the outside. Then you had both Charlotte and Becky Lynch incapacitated in opposite corners across from each other. And then Emma hits the Emma-mite sandwich on Charlotte. She runs over, hits the Emma-mite sandwich on Becky Lynch, goes for the pin. Now, what was supposed to happen is, now all they said in the dirt sheets was one of the girls didn't come in and make the save, like, because it was scripted where somebody was going to break up that pin and keep going. So Becky, she's down on her shoulders, she's waiting for this. You see Emma, she's going for the hook. The referee's counting. Nobody. I mean, we're not talking like late. I mean, person wasn't even fucking there. It was Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke was completely out of place. She was to the outside. I mean, she wasn't like coming into the ring. She wasn't like a step too slow. I mean, she was not even fucking there. And 1, 2, 3, and then you just see Emma have this look of like, what the okay, I'm the winner. Yeah, I'm a bad guy. Yeah. And then they still went through with the ending anyway, with natural selection on Emma. Then goes like a pinning count. Have the crowd counts to 3. Then Dana Brooke ambushes Charlotte, and Becky Lynch makes the save and puts her in the disarmer, or excuse me, the figure. Charlotte puts Brooke in the figure 8, and Lynch puts Emma in the disarmer, and that closes out the show. Let me tell you something. Dana Brooke, I tried to go to bat for her and say just give her some time, but I was like, dude, she looked fucking horrible. Like one of the funniest Twitter comments I saw about her was she looked like a little girl who got into her mom's makeup bag for the first time. The comparison I'd like to think is she looked like some 45-year-old chick hanging out at like a college bar, slid up to some 23-year-old college student, had a cigarette in one hand, a glass of whiskey in the other, and went, "Hey, honey, buy me girl a drink." That's what she. God damn it, she looked fucking awful. I mean,
what's up with her hair?
I mean, dude, she did have like this. I mean, it was fake as fuck, but it looked awesome. That platinum hair, I mean, it damn near looked white. I mean, that's how blonde and platinum it was, pulled back into a ponytail, makeup perfect. And instead, she looked like fucking Pennywise the Clown from Stephen King's It. And then she had her hair done in pigtails with like these pink streaks in it. And I'm like, honey, you look like Bozo the Clown fucked a hooker. Because my dear God, she looked horrible. Emma looking pretty good, I will say that. But I mean, it's like Dana was just completely out of position. I mean, we're not talking late. No, we're not talking like late. Like she tripped on something, or oh shit, I need to get in there, or I'm a step too slow. No, she was not even fucking there. And to me, that's just fucking inexcusable. And plus, the referee, if the referee didn't know the ending of the match, he should have. And plus, I'll give him props for counting 3, and I'll give props to Becky Lynch because I mean they were completely trusting. They were completely trusting Dana Brooke to do her job. Completely let down. But what I think should have happened is either the referee should have just said something to Becky Lynch like, Dana's not, kick out, Dana's not here, kick out. Just something. It could have went with the finish, but he did what he's supposed to do, and Becky did what he was supposed to do, and there's Dana Brooke. She's the one that has egg on her face. But what were your impressions of the match here?
I'm ashamed because on my notes here, I have Dana Brooke versus I have the match written out, and then the first line I've got, with Brooke, I see potential. Like, if you, I'll try and say it so you can see. I don't know if it'll work on here. Dana versus, where's Dana Brooke? There is a Dana Brooke versus Emma. Brooke, see potential. That's the fucking first thing you see. Oh, I was so ashamed I wrote that. I've never been more ashamed. And like, her offense in this match were kicks and a couple of forearms. That's her offense done. And every single time she did that, she then did that stupid pose where she tenters. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ. At least Charlotte Nicole Bass, I like to call her. She does have a moveset, and she's tolerable. She may have the most awkward chops I've seen in the history of the wrestling business, but this match was a clusterfuck, but I enjoyed it. I'm happy it was main event, but I enjoyed it, and it was very amusing. That finish was fucking hilarious. I haven't laughed that much in a while. It was just, yeah. I'm happy they carried on. They could have stopped, and they could have just stopped and froze. They could have quite easily frozen and thought, shit, we just stunk the joint out, but they didn't. They carried on, and the crowd were hot for it. I was shocked the crowd obviously didn't shit over it, because they probably didn't know live, but watching it back, it was obvious. And they should have, maybe post-production should have cleared it up a bit, but how are you going to save that?
Yeah, there was no way you could do that. And by the way, LB Clash of Kings, he writes, I think Dana Brooke was probably supposed to win that match, but she kind of fucked up. Yeah, just a little. I like Dana Brooke, but she needs to get better. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. Yeah, she definitely needs to get better. I think that's kind of the problem when you hire these fitness models and shit. You need to find some people with some fucking passion. But anyway, I want to talk about the women's division, this women's revolution as a whole, and kind of where I see things going. I do want to say from the main show, from NXT TakeOver, I will argue right now that Bayley versus Sasha, probably a match of the year, or definitely a match of the year candidate. One of the best women, probably the best women's match I've ever seen, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to do that to be smart here. I'm legitimately from the bottom of my heart. The reason I know this is because I watched that match again. Very rarely do I even go back and rewatch matches, but I went back and watched that entire match again. And it was still, usually I kind of criticize it the second time, like, well, maybe it wasn't as good. No, it was still good. In fact, I think it was actually a little bit better the second time around when I watched it. And there's a big talk about this Divas Revolution, and I think Raw is completely mishandling it, and here's why. Lance Storm, over on his website, he wrote the best criticism of the Divas division, when it comes to NXT and WWE and how it's presented. And I'm going to paraphrase because I can't go into everything, but he was saying, look, when NXT kicked off this Divas Revolution, this women's wrestling, they didn't come out and say, okay, we're going to do this women's revolution. No, they had that NXT Women's Championship, which looks like it's a very good looking belt. I will say that it's a very good looking belt, and they put importance on it, and they put that championship on a good wrestler, and then the other girls, well, they kind of expressed that, hey, that championship means something because we all want to wrestle each other to get an opportunity to win that title and then defend it. And they were given time to do it. And so people will say, well, NXT's taking this seriously. The women are taking this seriously. They're busting their ass. So, boom, everybody jumped on board. Whereas when you took those NXT girls over to WWE, you had to have Stephanie McMahon come out because they needed legitimacy. They needed instant legitimacy because, hey, nothing says instant legitimacy like fucking McMahon coming out and going, hey, you need to like this. And to me, it's just being completely mistaken because they're like, hey, check it out, it's a revolution. Jay, check it out, it's a revolution. Now we're starting to see some of the old stuff that we've been seeing. By the way, can we just put like a moratorium where, like, for the next year, no Divas matches can end with a schoolgirl roll-up? I would seriously go the rest of my life happy if I never ever saw a women's match end with a schoolgirl roll-up ever again. Now, as far as where and that's where I feel like they're fucking up, is they're trying to make it cool. It's like, and I've always made this comparison, it's like the movie Wayne's World. Wayne and Garth are doing the show in the basement on cable access, and then this company picks them up, and then they add all these special effects. They give them like this huge budget, and suddenly the show that they were doing just isn't fun. It isn't cool anymore because somebody else is trying to make it cool, and that's part of the problem. And I think that's what the women's division is falling into. As far as where they go from here, I think that four-way was kind of a blessing in disguise because Emma won, and the reason why I think Emma won's a blessing in disguise is I think that's a better matchup. I think Emma would be the great first opponent for Bayley to defend her championship against. Then where do you go from there? As soon as you just maybe have like a month-long program, and then you have a Divas Championship match, Emma versus Bayley, women's NXT title. Have Bayley win, and then I would immediately after that match have Dana Brooke jump Bayley and have that be the next challenger. Hear me out now. And then you have like another program where you have Dana Brooke challenging for Bayley. They have a title match, and then boom, they
Bailey defeats her. And then they go, okay, well, here's our new number one contender, and bring out Ava Marie. And now this is where I would use the internet against themselves. I would basically kind of insinuate, hey, Raw, they're seriously considering calling up Bailey. They really, really like Ava Marie, and kind of have that in the back of everybody's mind, because right now on paper you're like, Bailey slaughters her. Bailey absolutely slaughters her. But if you have that in the back of the audience's mind, use that against them, then you've got an interesting storyline. Then you've got an interesting match. Is Bailey going to retain? Is she going to move up? Is Ava Marie going to be the new face? But I would have Bailey win, and this would be at the NXT Live event. Have her beat Ava Marie, and as soon as she's done, I would have Kana come out and go, yeah, you know what? That's cute, but here's real competition. I've been doing this while you were still in high school looking for a prom date. This next title shot, it belongs to me. You and me, it's next, and then boom, there's your money match: Bailey versus Kana.
That was very good, but does this Kana chap or lady, speak English? If so, that could be a big problem.
You can always teach them English, and if not, you can just bring out a manager. You can have a manager. To me, that's a fist to the face, is the same in any language. So, you just got to have somebody come, if they're not, if she can't speak, at least not English fluently, hell, I don't really care who. You can stick anybody out there.
WWN and WWE have this worker relationship with Kana obviously going to be she's going to be the heel in this against Bailey. Bailey is going to be the babyface in this no matter what. Why don't you have SoCal Val be the manager for Kana? I watched the Evolve shows a couple of weekends ago. She is probably one of the best managers I've seen in a very, very long time. Like, I wanted to hit her because she was doing her job very, very well. Now, imagine her doing promos to Bailey, calling her, look, this is what a real woman looks like, not you, a schoolgirl. I think that could be money. I honestly do. I think that the whole booking system, add in SoCal Val in there, and you got yourself money, and you got yourself a real revolution. Not just because you say it's a revolution, in my opinion, doesn't make it a revolution. That's the way I look at it. And the more you say it, the more I think about it. If they didn't say anything, I could think, wait a minute, this could be a revolution. Not telling me it is. It's different.
And here's another thing. You don't need somebody to tell you it's a revolution. You have to show it. You just can't say that, okay, this is a revolution. No, you have to, it's like if there in the real world, if there's a revolution, somebody's going to fire a fucking shot, and go, oh shit, it's an uprising. This is a revolution. From any point in history, any revolution is, yeah, you could say it's a revolution, but unless you got people backing it up, it's not. And I think that's part of the problem there. Whew. Now, let's play a little bit of a game. This is, of course, courtesy of LB Clash of Kings. He says it's time to pick our poison. So, number one. All right, okay. The Young Bucks or the Wyatt family?
Oh, it depends what you're looking for. From a wrestling standpoint, I'd go Young Bucks. So I'll go Young Bucks. I'll go Young Bucks
as well. Vince Russo or Bill DeMott?
Vince Russo. I'm a Vince Russo guy. There you are. I love Vince Russo. I subscribe to the guy's podcast. Very good stuff. Everyone go there. VinceRussoBrand.com. Subscribe. There you are. I don't know why I plugged him. He doesn't need the fucking publicity, does he? Fuck me.
Yeah. I'll go with Vince Russo because Bill DeMott really didn't have that good of a career, and he has a nasty tendency to hurt people, whereas Vince Russo, yeah, he has some stupid fucking storylines in his life, but he does have some genius ones, and if you can filter them out, he can probably be more beneficial. Jay Lethal or James Storm?
I'll go Lethal. I'll go Lethal on that one.
I'm going Lethal. I'm Lethal all the way. Amanda match on Tough Enough finale or Sarah Lee match on Tough Enough finale?
I go Amanda.
So I can't pick them.
I go Amanda. Sarah Lee just looks like one of those. They said it. Amanda said it on the program. She's a slut and that she's sleeping her way there. So that to me says it all. I go Amanda.
Well, hell, she's going to fit in very nicely. By the way, do I need to tell everybody the rumor, that nasty little rumor we've all heard about Nikki?
What is it? Go with it.
This is according to the dirt sheet, so kids, please take this with a grain of salt. That the reason, WWE had originally planned for Charlotte to win the NXT Women's Championship. However, those plans were squashed when John Cena, on behalf of his girlfriend, Nikki Bella, squashed it.
basically he just went in and talked creative or talked Vince or talked to whoever, but whoever he talked to, he talked them out of putting the championship on Nikki. Now, here's the thing. Either A, this is all completely total bullshit. B, Nikki's a lying fucking bitch and put Cena up to it. C, Cena's a fucking asshole and did this without anybody's knowledge, just did it to protect his woman. Or it's true, either way. And I just think, dude, that fucking pissed me off because I want to say something to Nikki. Nikki, honey, I hate to tell you this, but apparently nobody in the fucking world has the balls to tell you the truth, and this is KocoSports.com, and so this is going to come from my heart. Fuck you. Seriously, the only reason you have a goddamn job is because you're a fucking novelty act. If you didn't have your sister and you weren't a twin, you wouldn't be there. When you tried to leave your so-called acting and modeling career, that didn't exactly go well. So where did you go? You went back to wrestling, and this time you were smart. I will tell you that, honey. You were smart. You realized you couldn't make it on your own, so you were like any other chick. You were like the little girl in high school. You decided, I know the high school quarterback. Oh, he's popular. I'll get with him, and then I'll be popular by association. So you started warming up Cena's cock, and then you got yourself in. You're good. So that's the only reason why you're over. Thank you. Sincerely, Boom Boom, KocoSports.com. P.S. Fuck you. All right. Sorry.
You can't top that. Yeah, you can't top that.
All right. And the last one here before we go to the final show here is LAX, and he's talking about the ones in TNA in their prime, or the Lucha Dragons.
Oh, you can't really judge the Lucha Dragons. They've been around not close to a year now, whereas LAX has been around since fucking mid-2000s. So I was never a fan of LAX because I hate Hernandez passionately. So I'll go with Lucha Dragons just because of my pure hatred for Hernandez. General hatred for Hernandez.
I'm going to go LAX because at least they can back up all their shit.
Their matches... Name me a very good LAX match.
Sorry, you kind of caught me on guard there. No, there was the live one they did in Texas, in San Antonio.
Against...
I think that was against the Dirty Heels. That was the one. That was the three-way. I think it was. It was Rude and Aries versus LAX versus shit. Who was the other time? I think it might have been Eric Young. It was recently. I think it was 2013. I think.
Are you sure you're thinking of them? Are you sure you're not thinking of James Storm and Gunner? Because it was at one point it was Dirty Heels, James Storm and Gunner, and The Addiction. That was at a big pay-per-view. I think that might have been in Texas.
It was the one in San Antonio. Anyway, I'm probably getting off track here. Definitely getting off track here.
You still know they're a bad team if you can't really think of a great match off the top of your head, really. That's just cool. I don't know. It depends on your point of view. That was a good question, though. Very good question.
Good board toss here. Let's see. Looking around. All right, let's just go to the finale here. Of course, we're talking about TNA, and I will say this: I didn't get to watch last week. This week, I think it was okay. Real quick, here's the quick results. Eric Young defeated Chris Melendez and won his prosthetic leg. Yes, you just heard me say that sentence. Tigre Uno successfully defended his X Division championship against DJ Zima and Sanjay Dutt in a three-way X Division match. You had the Wolves successfully defend their titles against the Revolution. Of course, this was being represented by Manic and Abyss. Then you had, let's see, God, who won this? A no contest between Brooke and Velvet Sky. Then Mr. Anderson, James Storm, Bobby Roode, and Bobby Lashley squared off at a four-way match where the winner was going to become the new number one contender for the TNA King of the Mountain title. Of course, that was won by Bobby Roode. And then we found out that it was, hang on, I got to do this. It was me, Jarrett. It was me all along. Karen Jarrett apparently pulled some shenanigans, and it's looking like Global Force Wrestling
is actually going to turn into a full-scale invasion, to which I said, what the fuck, and promptly turned off the show. So, starting out with this, okay, what did you think about it? I mean, am I being too harsh on it? Were there some highlights? Were there some lowlights? What was it?
It's just that this is it. This is it. This is make or break, and this is what you put out. Like, think about it. Honestly, you're in creative. Nothing against the talents. They all worked hard. Well, what they could work hard with. I mean, the X Division got, what, 6 minutes? When you got 3 very, very talented wrestlers in there. That can fuck off. Women's match, you look at Bayley and Sasha Banks, and you look at that. Just go hang yourself. I mean, I very much enjoyed the main event. There, again, weak points on that. The point of this whole debate is, why does DJZ and Sanjay Dutt have an X Division title match? Why does Velvet Sky have a Knockouts title match? Why were the 4 men involved in the number one contenders for the King of the Mountain match? Why did Abyss and Manic have a tag title match? They just made them. There's no story behind them. There's no reason to care. It's just really poor booking. It is.
I agree.
Right, you go on a Raw this week, and they say, look, we're gonna have IC title match, WWE title match, and US title match. They just tell you that. Okay, you're gonna okay, I care because they weren't number one contenders. They didn't do anything. They're just chucked in there. It's just not. It's like literally the creative meeting was, oh, we're gonna by September. We're not gonna have a contract. Yeah, let's just fill out the dates. Let's put together what could be good matches, and let's just do it. Okay. It's just, if I'm sat there in that board, I'm screaming at these people, guys, if we don't fucking sort this out, we're going to be out of business. Let's pick it the fuck up. Let's not have fucking Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy versus EC3 next week, where if Matt Hardy loses, Jeff Hardy's his personal assistant. No one cares. Have Matt Hardy's career on the line. Matt Hardy versus EC3, Matt Hardy's career on the line. That is it. That is all. They can find shenanigans to bring the guy back if they need him back. If not, then they must do that, because I'll tell you what, lots of people will tune in for that. No one cares if Jeff becomes EC3's personal assistant. And it's like, they wrestled over a guy's leg. This is WCW 2000. This is WCW from 2000.
Okay, let's just talk about it. Melendez and Young. I'll give TNA some props for some good. I mean, I think that was kind of guts. I mean, it was kind of stupid because it was over a prosthetic leg, but they had the match, and then the good guy lost, and then, okay, now you got to give it over to the bad guy, and he did. So, I mean, I think that's gutsy, but here's the problem with this. To me, it was just uncomfortable. It was very, very uncomfortable, at least, for me. I'm just like, okay, we're going to see a guy have to take off his prosthetic leg and hand it to the bad guy, and and here's the thing, Melendez has just become a jobber. I mean, I know he's not that great, but you got to throw him a bone every now and then to give him some sense of legitimacy. When's the last time he won a match?
Exactly, this was booked for Melendez to win. It's EY got loads and loads and loads of heel heat, then Melendez would get his big victory. That's the way it was booked. It was booked that way. I said, okay, Melendez is going to get the win here, I can skip. Next thing I know, Eric Young hits a pile driver and wins, and I'm sat there with my head in my hand thinking, what am I watching? I'm watching WCW from 2000, and I tell you what, this time 2 years ago, I was the biggest TNA supporter. I said, fuck you, we're going to turn this bad boy around. Look at us, we're live in the summer. We are live all summer, and now look at us. It's embarrassing, and I'm ashamed to call myself a TNA fan at this point.
I mean, just Melendez, I mean, what do you do? I mean, okay, you got the headlines, you got the press, you got the ink for, signing a war veteran. You had Eric Young, God bless him, working with this guy the best he could. And I just think Eric Young could be doing better things. Why isn't Eric Young feuding for, like, the TNA? I mean, I know it's because EC3, but why is he not feuding for, like, another major title? I think he could be, I think EC3 is obviously your lead heel, but I think Eric Young him and Bram could be jockeying back and forth for the number 2 spot.
Good possibility. They just won't do it. I mean, I will give them props we'll talk about the ending of this show. I did enjoy the ending a lot, but that was the highlight to me was the ending. Honestly, the matches heading into that I was disgusted by. I mean, we'll go to the X Division match next with the DJZ, Sanjay Dutt, and Tegra Uno. And again, why do these guys have a title match? Was there a normal contender match I wasn't involved in? Was there a backstage storyline I wasn't involved in? No, they just had, there you go, X Division title match. That's going to pop a rating. No, they went 6 minutes. They went 6 minutes. A cruiserweight match a Sunday Night Heat cruiserweight match would have got longer than that.
I think they got closer to 5, to be honest.
Jesus Christ, it's unbelievable.
And
It just, I
here's
do.
another thing. Let's take DJ Zima and put him in a match with Chris Melendez and book it as somebody has to win.
Exactly. Yeah, Sanjay Dutt, who already lost a match 2 weeks ago to Tiger Uno, they did do that. They lost, so he's back in there because I don't know. I don't even. I don't mean to sound like a really negative TNA basher. I am not a TNA basher. I'm probably one of the loyalists, but I've now dropped the ball. I've just given up with this piece of shit. It's the creative. Nothing against the talent. Talents can only do what they're told. If Melendez beat Eric Young, that could have been a good feel-good moment, but they didn't 'cause they didn't book it right. It's
Exactly. And I think booking could have saved this match. It could have been like Tigre Uno's backstage, and Sanjay Dutt comes up to him and goes, "You know what? You beating me was a fluke the other week. I came this close. I know if I got another shot, I could beat you this time. I could take this X Division Championship right off you. There's no getting around." And and have Tigre Uno's like, "You know what? I don't want to hear your whining, and I want to prove that TNA were better than Global Force. So yeah, I'll take you up on your rematch." Then have DJ Zima be like, "Hey, you've already beat him. Why aren't you facing me? I haven't ever gotten a shot. I've never been a champion. I've never." And because you refuse to give me a shot, and have Tigre goes, "You know what? I'll take you on too." And then boom, they go out there. It makes sense.
Bro, I care about that. I care about that. I don't care about them wrestling for wrestling's sake. It's bad. It doesn't draw. At least ROH, they book wrestling matches, okay? They say, right, I want to have AJ Styles versus Adam Cole, for instance, at All-Star Extravaganza. That's the match I'm going for. They would have matches, good matches, to build towards it by outside interference or promos, backstage promos. They could have done a fucking 5-minute, a minute you just talked about was a minute, okay? A minute pre-take, they could have done that. And they didn't because they're lazy, they know it's ending, and they're just going to close the doors and be done with it. And I hope they do. They should be ashamed for putting this out there. There's no storytelling, there's no storylines. It's GFW versus TNA, so yeah, eat this, eat this, eat this. Dropped every storyline they had. It's an embarrassment.
Next to the tag team match, the Wolves defeated Manic and Abyss. At no point was I ever convinced that Manic and Abyss were going to win. Nothing convinced me. I just felt like this was a wasted time, wasted talent.
There was more chance of the Pope coming and wanking me off than the Revolution winning the tag straps. And we'll talk about how great the Ring of Honor tag team division is. This could be the worst tag team division in the world. We have the Revolution, the Wolves. I think that's your tag team division. I generally do think that is the tag, and the Hardys. EC3 and Taurus at a push. 4 teams. That's your tag division, and 2 of them are involved in main events. So their X division is poor. Their Knockouts division is poor. Their tag title is poor. It's just all around poor, and it's shambles. It's going out of business, and I don't like saying it, but it is.
All right, next year we've got the Knockouts match. I felt like this was kind of a train wreck. I was just like, okay, they're getting on board here. They're kind of getting this, with Brooke and Velvet Sky, and then in comes Jade and Marty Bell. They attack Brooke, and I was like, okay, this makes sense because they're trying to do this for Taryn Terrell, trying to get the belt back on their girl. Okay, that makes sense. And then it was like, okay, I can let this slide. And then they have Rebel essentially join the Dollhouse because why? Is that so? I think that's something they need to explain, and I want to give it a chance because maybe that's what they'll explain next week. It is why.
Yeah, but it's just they won't because it's not. It's just so bad. I hate seeing it like this. I miss the days of getting up on a because I used to have BT Vision and we used to get TNA on demand every Sunday morning. I used to get up. I used to be so excited. Yes, TNA today. Come on, favorite show of the week back in 2009, 2010. And then look at it now. Who would have thought it would have turned into this? Like WCW. People said it was WCW back in 2010. I say it's WCW 2000 now. This is shambles. It's embarrassing. It needs to go away. I don't like talking about it anymore. I get upset. I might just do flashback Thursdays or throwback Thursdays for Impact. I'll review an 08 edition of Impact while you lot can talk about the 2015 one.
There you go. And the next, in my opinion, this was the match of the night, main event. Anderson, Storm, Roode, and Lashley all fighting for #1 contendership. I actually thought Anderson was going to pull it out, but no. Bobby Roode winds up getting the win. He hit the Roode bomb on it. They even had, I think they had a funny moment where they had like a mini beer money reunion in the match. I kind of got a kick out of that, but I think it was a pretty good paced match. It was a lot of fun, so I enjoyed it, and props to him for that. So, and props to Bobby Roode, man.
Yeah, and I mean, Bobby Roode versus PJ Black is something to look forward to next week, and I'm happy that there's actually a reason to care for that match next week because Roode won a number one contenders match. So let's TNA open message to you. I don't mind you doing those matches, but don't put the titles on the line because then your title matches don't mean anything. You have title matches all the time. That's why WWE doesn't have title matches all the time because then when they do happen, they feel special. And I do like it has that big fight feel to it. I mean, the world title's defended every other week. I mean, because they're too scared to put EC3 in a one-on-one match for the title because they think that it won't pop a rating, even though their ratings went down by nearly 500,000 people. 50,000 people stopped watching Impact this week. Next week, do we see another 50,000 people stop, and then another 50,000 people, and another 50,000 people, to the point where Destination America cut it? Can we talk about something positive? I mean, the match, it was good. There was a typical Tower of Doom spot that every single triple threat and fatal four-way match has. I need to think of right. Beer Money Reunion, that was lovely. I did pop for that. That was very, very good. But it kind of felt to me like, let's do the Beer Money thing. We might not ever get to do it again because TNA will be out of business next time we're in a match.
Let me ask you this. What did you think about the closing segment where it was revealed that Karen Jarrett what was it? Hit Drew Galloway with a car?
Yeah, no. Jarrett. Basically, the story is Dix Carr and Jeff Jarrett had their promo in the ring. Jarrett says TNA versus GFW is a win-win for everyone, including the fans. Yeah, fuck off. Then before Carter gives Jeff Jarrett the power, Drew Galloway comes out. Galloway says Jarrett orchestrated the attacks. Jarrett then swears on his kids and wife's life. And then I'm thinking, okay, where's this gonna go? And then Karen Jarrett comes out. She says she orchestrated the attacks, and then from behind, Jarrett kicks Galloway in the dick, and then GFW roster beat down on Galloway, and a couple of jabrones and the Wolves come out for TNA, and then there's a big brawl. Dixie's on the ramp crying. That was very good. That was entertaining. That's how this invasion should have started.
You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me, like, seriously, you know what this reminded me of? Like those ninja movies back in the 80s, like the good guys would be like surrounded by all these ninjas, and they would go and attack them one at a time.
It was
That's what that reminded me of.
I thought it'd be like a great moment having like all the wrestlers run down the ramp, like Dixie stood in the middle of the ramp, and them coming either the side of her. Then it could be that feel good moment, like yes, they're rescuing for her, they're doing it for the troops, they're like troops, they're running beside her. I think that could have been a great moment. But again, I was happy with this. There was a good point, but this is how the invasion should have started. It shouldn't have been, let's work together. No, you should have gone, boom, straight in there. TNA Hall of Fame, that should have happened. That should have happened. You should have had Galloway taking out on the night of the Hall of Fame, and then the night that Jeff Jarrett got inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame, then start this Karen Jarrett saying, I did it, and then boom. 3 weeks into this invasion, we could be looking at higher ratings. Hopefully next week the ratings pop up because that was a good ending segment. And it made me want more.
And I'm trying not to give away a spoiler here, but this really isn't because I don't know how it's going to end, but from what I understand, that this is already wrapped up. That basically Jeff Jarrett and
John
Gaborek, they couldn't come to an agreement about the booking, so right now it's already wrapped up. They've already wrapped it up. Their Global Force is already doing their own thing, so everything's in the can. From what I've heard now, it's just Gaborek and Jarrett couldn't come to agreements on things, so there's like, fuck it, we're just have to agree to disagree. Let's wrap it up and let's move on, and that's what's happening. Hell, actually tonight, I actually saw a advertisement for Global Force Wrestling out at the Diamond in Richmond this Saturday. I can't go because I've got to work. Fuck me, because they were advertising Bullet Club hard, so I'm like, fuck, I wanted to go see Bullet Club.
How much time did they give you to book it off? Was there long advertising?
It was like a 30-second commercial. This is the first time I've ever seen it.
No. What I meant was like, how long did they? Oh, so they didn't really expose it very well. Like, how long did they give you to like book the time of work, or can't you book the time of work?
Oh, they didn't give me a time frame. They just said that it's already wrapped up. So I think because I think they film they tape at least a month in advance. They tape like a month's worth of shows at one taping. So I think they've already got it wrapped up. So I think theoretically it could wrap up next couple of weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks. I honestly don't know when it's gonna end or how it's gonna end. I just know that taping wise it's wrapped up.
Okay. That's not good. That's really not good.
Oh, come on now. We can't end this on a downer here. Let's see. LB Clash of Kings. He says TNA announced they're doing live events on permanent basis start September and all months after September, and they already announced a UK tour in 2016 and Bound for Glory. So I'm not worried is about TNA is they'll still be around. I heard a rumor Jeff Jarrett has more ownership of the company, so I see storyline as Dixie Carter's storyline for her go off with a bang before she steps down and hands the company over to Jeff Jarrett. I don't know where you're hearing that from, but as far as I know, I think Jarrett, that whole crew, they're done. They're done with TNA, and Queen Dixie is still at the helm. Oh wow! Damn! Come on, guys. Again, LB Crash for Kings. He's blowing up our feed tonight. He says, "I just want TNA to be on a bigger network. Discovery needs to put TNA on one of their bigger networks, or TNA needs to get another bigger network that's not a premium channel." But I just don't know who would take them at this point. I mean, this would be good for a smaller network because love it or hate it, TNA puts some eyeballs on the screen. They really do. Their ratings aren't as good as it was when they were on Spike TV, but I think their ratings are actually doing pretty good considering the network that they're on. I mean,
well. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but right. So ROH this week did a 149, and TNA did a 273. Ring of Honor, which has never been on national cable, did over half of what TNA did. That's god awful. That is really bad. And TNA has been on that network for nearly triple the time. That is bad. That is very, very bad. And Ring of Honor is on at a later time, which makes even less chance of people watching. They're going to get kicked off the network. I hope they get a new network. Please, somewhere out there, please purchase them or do something. But until the creative fucking turns it around, in my opinion, I don't care. They could be on any network they want. If they put out this content, I'm going to shit all over it. I don't care what network they're on. They could be on Spike. They could be on USA. They could be on any old Tom, Dick, and Harry's network. They just have to improve the product. It's that simple.
What is it about Impact that people over there in the UK like? Is it just because it's on at a better time, or is the quality better? Is the commentary better? I mean, what is it that makes Impact so popular over there in the UK, more so than it is here in the United States?
Right. If you want to watch WWE on a week-to-week basis, you have to pay for Sky Sports, which is an extra £20 a month. Us UK people are the most stingiest motherfuckers on the planet, so they don't upgrade it.
And plus, you have to pay a television license on top of that.
Yeah, dude. You have to pay a television license, even though you have to sit through adverts. I don't want to go on a topic on there. I could go on for an hour. But when it comes to TNA, like I said, WWE you have to pay for, whereas TNA you don't. So it's basically wrestling fans who don't have the brain to check out Pirates Live for You, or they don't like forking out £20 a month for the Sky Sports. If you're a fan of sports, though, it makes sense to. If you're a fan of wrestling, pretty much you're a fan of sport in general. So I pay for it because I like watching obviously the soccer, as you toilets over there like to call it. I generally like the sports package, so I watch WWE on there. It's just TNA. It doesn't get any advertising. I've never seen a TNA advert ever. It's on Challenge, which every single person in the UK gets, and it's kind of like, it's not WWE, so it's cool to be a fan of. That's how they portray it over here. So I don't know if that's it or not. I can honestly cannot answer that question. But if the only valid reason I can give is because everyone has access to it and they're stingy motherfuckers. Like literally, you think I'm stingy with star ratings? Because lots of people are complaining on my NXT Takeover review for being stingy on the star ratings. English people are more stingy for money. Literally, the stingiest people on the planet, and they save so much money. It's not even funny. It's incredible. We are the brainsmen of everything when it comes to saving money. You go to an Englishman's bank and you put it in. You go to an American's bank, your Englishman is going to have a lot damn more saved up than you American toilet. So that's from the heart.
That's probably true there. And here's another thing. You have to have Sky Sports to watch WWE, but from what I understand, WWE Raw usually comes on about roughly 2 o'clock in the morning your time.
1 a.m. till 4 a.m. is Raw. SmackDown is on at 10 p.m. So, which is only 1 hour after Impact airs. So,
I'm just gonna ask this question: why the fuck are people over there staying up, especially for that? I can understand if we're in like the Attitude Era, and there's The Rock and Stone Cold, and who's gonna Mr. McMahon's trying to screw Steve Austin. I can understand staying up for that, but when it's like, okay, we're trying to turn PCB against each other, we've got nonsensical book. Jon Stewart is taking up 20 minutes of interview time. Why do people over there stay up for that? I mean, you got the network. Just go back and rewatch it. I mean, why stay up to watch that on a night when you probably have to go to work the next morning?
Yeah, I think it all depends on your work schedule. Like, to me, I'm an American time. I live on American time. It's 5 a.m. right now, and I'm not like tired. I'm not anything. I'm fine. I go to sleep at about 8 a.m., which is around about 2 a.m. your time. That's when I go to sleep. I then wake up at 2 to 3. I work from 4 to 11-12. Then I come back and I watch my wrestling and podcast. That's I think that's what minus the podcasting. I think that's what some people do, and I think it's kind of. I remember back when I was younger, I used to think, oh yes, it's Raw tonight. I get to stay up till 4 a.m. Oh, I think that could be part of it. I don't know.
I was actually just curious because I hear like a lot of people over there in the UK. They're like, I stayed up for this bullshit. I can't believe. I'm like, dude, why the fuck would anybody want to stay up for that?
They do it just so they can say that, and then it makes them look like they're really hardcore fans. That's why I used to do that. I can honestly say when I was 12 years old, I used to say to my friends, look, I stayed up till that and you didn't. That makes me a more hardcore fan than you. No, it doesn't. It makes me the idiot.
You're the one sleeping in class.
How are we doing on the comments?
Let's just do a couple more here. This is from LB Clash of King. He asked about asking us about booking a perfect show. We're working on that. We'll probably do a Stump the Idiot on that one. But then he asked, I think TNA didn't do an angle with Jeff Jarrett Hall of Fame introduction because they wanted it to be a legit Hall of Fame introduction without storyline angles, which it makes sense to me.
But then you could have done that and then afterwards. So you could have had the whole ceremony and then afterwards have Galloway attack him saying, look, you son of a bitch, you attacked me, you orchestrated that. And him like saying, no, it wasn't me. And then Karen Jarrett comes out. That way you got a TNA Hall of Fame induction and it's got a big bang in it. That could be very good. That's just me.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it here. Now, LK, I'm going to tell you something. Not this weekend, but next weekend is a very great time of year, at least for me. It's the start of college football season, baby. So I'll tell you what, I want you to come over here to the U.S., and I will take you to a college football game because, hey, I like pro. Well, I kind of like pro. I don't have a team to pull for, but college football, in my opinion, absolutely insane. I want you to come and tailgate with me. We'll tailgate. We'll cook some burgers. We'll drink a lot of beer. We'll go into the stadium. We'll call the referee a blind fuck. We'll cheer. We'll walk out. We'll drink some more beer. We'll cook out some more. We'll be hungover as fuck, and then I'll stick you back on a flight back to England. It'll be great. We got to do that.
We got to do that. I'm not. NFL's taking off over in the UK. Honestly,
I had actually heard at one point they were talking about moving the Jacksonville Jaguars out to London.
Oh, dude, don't do that, because then it takes because basically it's really special when they come over for the international series. I mean, I got into it when they kind of started advertising it on Sky Sports, and now the new deal is you get 2 games every Sunday and the game on Monday. So we get I think it's the what's it called? One's on Fox Sport and one's on, what's the other one? NBC or ABC or there's Fox Sport.
Yeah, Fox, CBS, and NBC all air NFL games. ESPN has the sole rights to Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football is on Eurosport. which everyone has access to that, so that's a good job. I don't know why it's on Eurosport when it's American. Us English are sometimes mind fucks. And then NFL, you get NBC or no, the CBS on at 1 a.m. and then at 4 a.m. you have the other one, the Fox one. So you get 2 games every Sunday, and then you have like a 3-hour build up to it as well. They're going all out this season. I might give it a watch. I don't know what team to go for. I don't know what team to root for. And I don't know if I should do fantasy football or not because I don't really know any of the players. But I'm just gonna for a person who's never watched football in their life, American football. This is how do you get into it? How do you say you get into it? Like, would you pick a team? I don't know.
Well, to get into it, usually it's for a lot of it we're kind of born into it. Depending on where you lived. The reason I really don't pull for like a team because I really don't have one. I was born in Alabama, and we don't have an NFL team. Like the nearest teams to me at the time were Atlanta, Nashville now, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and that's about it. Usually, it's just kind of dictates where you're from, but you can come to like it. You can come to like it. Maybe you'll like a style like offense or defense, or just pick a random team. Everybody's got their own system. Some people like like tough defenses, so they'll pick Pittsburgh because at one time they had a defense nicknamed the Steel Curtain. Or maybe they like good offense, so they'll pull for the Green Bay Packers because they had that power sweep. Or maybe it's just who's the hot team right now, and right now it's the I hate to say it because I'm really not a fan of this team, but the New England Patriots. They're more like the franchise team right now. Or maybe like a particular player. Like my wife loves Peyton Manning. She absolutely loves Peyton Manning. So, and he's the quarterback for the Denver Broncos, so therefore she pulls for the Denver Broncos. So, I mean, that's kind of.
I remember watching one of the games last season. Marshall Lynch. Is it? I may have said it's Lynch.
Yeah, no, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, who does he play for?
That I couldn't tell you, not off the top of my head.
Okay, well, that's the team I'm rooting for. If he's still at the team that was playing last time, I like that Lynch guy. I very much like that Lynch guy.
He plays for the Seattle Seahawks.
Does Seattle Seahawks win all the time?
They won the Super Bowl.
Did they win it this season, last season? Because if they won it last season, I don't want to be seen as a glory hunter. If you pick the team that wins last year in England, you would be known as the glory hunter, and you would be bullied for the rest of your life.
They won. I know they won the Super Bowl they won it in 2014.
Oh, I can't root for them. I can't root for them. I can't be a glory.
New England won it in 2015.
Oh, okay. I can root for the Seahawks in 20. Oh, that's fine. Yes, the seasons are mucked up. Yeah, that's fine. I'm a Seattle Seahawks guy. I'm a big Seattle fan. I remember WrestleMania 19 happening in Seattle. Great things happen in Seattle. I'm a Seattle Seahawks guy now. Come on, mash up there. How do we get that off topic? What a waffle fest! What a waffle fest! We got man off topic.
Well, I was going to bring you over here to the U.S. Take go tail. That's what you need over there. That's what you need over there in England. You need to tailgate before soccer games. You need to get out there early. You park. You bring out a grill. You fire up some charcoal. You get you a rack of ribs on there. You start popping open cans of beer. You have like a stereo playing. Yeah, but like yeah. Just get all fired up.
You can't do that because one, it's just a car park surrounding the big stadium, and secondly, there would just be fights. Like if you go to a football game, the English football I'm talking about now, you walk out, you run to your train station because there's always fights. There is fights every single. Sometimes it gets as serious as it's on the news. Honestly, check it out. It's really interesting stuff. I think they've made films on it. I think they're called firms, or I don't know what they're called, but they're really dodgy people. And I don't know. Like, for instance, Leeds United are the be-all, end-all when it comes to their football club's gang. So if you live in England and you want to experience the adrenaline rush of running away from a football game, go to Leeds United FC Stadium. You won't make it out alive, so you can't tell me how it went.
I was told it's not officially a soccer riot until you have steel and concrete burning simultaneously.
Yeah, they're not very pleasant. That to get out and go. So you get in, you watch, and you fucking go as quick as you can. It's a kind of sad state football's in, but it's a sad state the country's in. There's too many chavs around. Like, like 6 a.m., I'll probably start hearing shouting. Like in America, in like for instance, programs like I don't know. There's some programs where they show America, and it's like such a lovely, quiet, peaceful country. Is that how it actually is over there? Because I've been to Florida, but you can't count Florida, 'cause that's more of a tourist destination.
Yeah, you need to come down to my neck of the woods. You know, there was actually, and by the way, you can go ahead and just start tuning out here. Because now I'm just going to start talking here. Actually, I stumbled across this documentary. It was actually from the BBC. There's a gentleman by the name of Stephen Fry, and he was actually touring the United States in a black taxi cab, like the kinds you see in London. And he drove one of those all over the U.S. And he, you know, in the second episode he did, he went to the Deep South, which for me, you kind of hold your breath because, you know, that's the funny thing. I have been to England before, and just being over there, like, oh, where are you from? They're like, oh, I'm from Alabama, and they immediately go, okay, rednecks, y'all, sleeping with your sister, playing the banjo. I'm like, God damn it, we can't get away from this shit. So, and I was like, okay, how is this going to be portrayed? And it was actually a pretty good documentary. He started in at the Mason-Dixon line at the border right there of Maryland and Virginia, and he generally worked his way down. He worked through Virginia, West Virginia, all the way down through the Carolinas, and he wound up and he ended it in Alabama, my home state, and it was actually a pretty good portrayal, and I was like, oh wow, it was kind of seeing like my territory from somebody else's eyes. But it just like if you want to come over here to the U.S., it just depends on what you want to see. New England, from what I understand, I haven't been up there yet, but that's a very pretty place to be in the fall. A lot of fishing out there along the coast. If you want lobster, and I mean it's the oldest point. You know, a lot of the oldest points in the U.S. A lot of historic buildings. You know, back when we were. The expansion coming over back in the 1700s. The Deep South, we're very known for our hospitality. We're known for the cooking. Florida, it's kind of like two states in one because you got West Florida, where Dave is not from. That's still the South. That's still the grits and gravy, sweet tea. But once you get past Gainesville, gets past the University of Florida, and hit down I-75, you start heading towards Tampa Bay, Orlando, and Miami. That's not the South. That's
Yeah, because
totally
I went to Orlando where there was all the gimmicks of the theme parks. A very good time, but you know it was just when I was there, like the air felt more. It felt more. You know, there wasn't the big breeze. I think that's what was it. There wasn't the big breeze you have in England. You have that whoosh, it hits you. Like you walk out the door, like it hits you. Like I'm fucking English. Whereas when you're in America, it's kind of just a pure air. But when it rains, fuck me, does it rain in Florida? Jesus. Like I remember at one point it was like 3 a.m. and it starts smashing it down with rain. I'm shitting myself because it was in a villa and there's a pool outside and all I heard was boom, 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 boom. I thought, fuck, the pool's gonna flood. Oh shit. But then by like 6 a.m., you wouldn't have realised it rained outside. It was that hot. So I'm thinking, bro, how can you live like that? Damn.
Yeah, that's the humidity. Yeah, it's a very humid place. Let's see. Then there's the west. Depends on which you go out to the west. You know, Texas. That's always good. You know, the deserts out there in Arizona, New Mexico, Utah. You got the mountains, Colorado. You got the plains out there at Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, the Dakotas. And then the West Coast, right now, I wouldn't recommend going out to the West Coast because they're in a huge drought, especially in Southern California. I mean, it's the worst. I don't think it's really seriously rained there in like 2 years. I'm not exaggerating. It's bad out there. It's really bad.
Jesus Christ. How did we go from Impact to TNA Creative to then we went to football, then we went to soccer firms, and now we're on to talking about states of America. This really is the podcast for everyone.
Well, because I just didn't want to end the show. I didn't want to end the show on a downer. I didn't want to end it like TNA's going out of business. They couldn't work out a deal with Global Force Wrestling. They've already wrapped up their storyline. Fuck EVN. I just don't want to go out on that. And I just said, you know what? I want to take LK to a football game. We'll go tailgating. We'll have the whole experience. Hell, I'd like to go over there to him and tailgate at a European soccer game, but unfortunately, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't recommend it unless you can run fast. I don't really think I'd recommend it. No, it depends. It depends where you go. I mean, some stadiums, they're heavily guarded, so you're fine. Like if you go to a Manchester United game, you're fine. You'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Or Liverpool, Arsenal.
if you pull for Manchester United, is that like being a franchise jumper? Is that like just pulling for like the equivalent of like pulling for the Yankees or the Lakers?
Yeah, they're called glory hunters. If you're either United fan 'cause you're born in Manchester, or you're a glory hunter, which is from a young age you say, oh look, Manchester United win all the time. I'll pick Manchester United. Then there's lots of them, and they get so at first day at school you get who do you support. Everyone gets it every year. If anyone says Manchester United, they don't make it to the next day. Like it's like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Reading. Like, you get out. Get out. You should be supporting Reading. Like America, it'll be like you from Alabama. Like someone saying to you, oh, who do you support? And then you go, oh, the New England Patriots. Come on. There's something fishy going on there. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Now the big thing, at least where I'm from, is the big thing they ask us if we support is who do you support? Or do you pull for Alabama or do you pull for Auburn, which are the two big universities down there? And I mean, trust me, it's weird. Like, okay, here's how serious it is. You can move. Like, if you move to Alabama for whatever fucking reason, you just move there. You'd probably be there for like a month or two, and they'd be like, okay, well, who are you going to pull for? It's like Alabama or Auburn. And you'd be like, well, I'm really not a huge fan of football. And they're like, oh, no, that's cute. But who are you going to pull for, Alabama or Auburn? Well, I really haven't decided yet. I'm looking at some, the NFL pro teams. Yeah, well, you can still do that, but who are you going to pull for, Alabama or Auburn? And that's how it goes. And me, I throw a wrench in the fucking works because I actually graduated from Troy, which is another school in the same state. And people look at me cross-eyed, and they're like, well, who do you pull for? I'm like, I pull for Troy. I was like, why the fuck do you do that? Because I fucking graduated from there. What the fuck? And football's in full season because somebody on talk radio, like sports talk, is actually big in this, well, everywhere, but especially in the Deep South, it's big. Somebody went on a sports talk show and compared Alabama's head football coach, Nick Saban, to Adolf Hitler. And I was like, well, football season's officially here. Here we go. The smack talk has begun.
Yeah, I might follow it this year because I think the first game's tonight, isn't it? Or has it already happened? Or no, it's next week, isn't it? It's next week. It's the Patriots versus the Seahawks.
Yeah, right now the NFL is doing preseason games.
Okay, because we don't have them. We don't have them.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. The preseason games really don't.
Do they count points towards the table?
No, this is just really all it is it's kind of like glorified practice. You kind of see what players are doing, how things are going. Yeah. But as far as football season, like the college football season starts on Saturday the 5th. I mean, like almost everybody's starting out on that day. As far as the NFL goes, the first game is actually going to be Thursday, September 10th. It's going to be the Steelers and the Patriots, and then the regular season for everybody else gets started on Sunday, September 13th.
Okay, I'm going to try and follow it this year. Then I'm going to get back to you on who I'm going to be rooting for.
All right, just be warned. Unless you want to gouge your eyeballs out, don't pull for like Jacksonville or Cleveland or Washington.
Why? Do they never win or?
Never win. Okay, this is like a weird. This is actually a pretty useless trivia question here. There's like 32 NFL teams, and and they've had a lot of teams that have never won a Super Bowl. But right now there are 4 franchises that have never been to a Super Bowl. Those are the Browns, the Texans, the Jaguars, and the Lions. Those 4 teams have never been. Everybody else has at least been to a Super Bowl, but those 4 franchises have never even been.
So they're like a local independent wrestling company. To bring it back to the wrestling, as it's a wrestling podcast. They're like a wrestling company. They can't find that big break. They can't find that one wrestler who can take them up to the next level. That's the Lions. Up the Lions, that could be a Lions guy. What state is that from?
The Lions, that's Detroit, so they're in Michigan.
Oh, fuck that! I hate fuck that. It's whenever someone says Michigan, I just go, oh, what a depressing place to be. Dad, like, where I've never ever heard anyone who says, right, where did you go on holiday this year? I went to Florida, Texas, fucking anywhere, Nashville. I went to Detroit. That doesn't happen. That does not happen. If you've been to Detroit and live in England, please drop in the comments, and I'll happily fucking buy you a pint next time I see you. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and we just had, where I'm from right now in Richmond, the Redskins just wrapped up their training camp here, and they have their training camp. The team is from, they play in Washington, D.C., but they actually train, like their summer training and other stuff goes on in Richmond. And they had like a big training camp thing, and they had very, very lousy attendance. Like, they were free. I mean, it was free. It would be like Manchester United saying, okay, it's preseason. We're going to go out here to this training camp. We're going to train. You can come and watch us practice. It's free, open to the public. You can come in, file in the stands, and just watch us practice. I mean, people would just be knocking down the doors to get in there, right?
Yeah.
Washington, not so much. I mean, they had some attendance, but I think what they're most infamous for is they got, during a practice game, like a practice game with the Houston Texans, they got into several fights on the practice fields. And it was all televised live on ESPN.
Professionalism brought to you by the NFLnetwork.com. Their network is very overpriced. I looked into it and it was like, fuck me, I don't think I will be getting the network. Damn, it's like £100 a season or something like that. Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty pricey. Now they have like a lot of packages where you, get every game, and then they have like NFL. I think it's NFL Goal Line where they like if the team is in scoring position. That's all that channel does is they cut to those games where there's a team in scoring position about to score a touchdown. I mean, that's all that channel does.
I guess that's them for the casual viewer who doesn't really enjoy the whole game. They just like seeing the touchdowns. Interesting. Well, I'll definitely give that a watch, Sky Sports. Definitely give that a watch. Anything else you want to get off your chest before we fucking hit off this Waffle Fest?
Yeah, I got to get back to England. I haven't been there since, shit, when was that? 2000? Was it 2000? I think that was the last time I've been there. Everything was. So I haven't been there. I got to get back there. I got to see a lot of things.
It's good country. Just there is some dodgy stuff and dodgy places, so be careful.
Yeah, let's see. The things I've learned is do not go to a clothing store and ask for a pair of pants.
Yes, do not do that. You will be. Yes, do not do that.
You will get stared at cross-eyed. Ask for a pair of trousers.
Yeah. What do you call drawers? When people say drawers, does that mean our pants? Because what are drawers?
Well, your drawers could be here. I don't know if this is like an American thing, but I know it's a Southern thing. Is when you talk about your drawers, drop your drawers, it means your underwear.
Okay, underwear. Okay, now I know. Yeah, because yeah, it's fine. I was wondering when people talk about drawers on an American show, I was kind of, what the fuck is going on here? I didn't know if they meant trousers or. It's crazy how you just taken a language and slaughtered it personally, and it's funny how teachers over there teach English, but they don't teach English. They teach American because you've taken our language and just fucked with it. So yeah.
Yeah, we took the U out of color and honor.
Yeah, that's stupid. Like when I write Ring of Honor, I look at it and I say I have to double check on rhwrestling.com. Did I spell that right? A minute. Did Honor? Oh, Jesus Christ. But the issue is now, because I'm so used to writing Ring of Honor, sometimes I misspell it and I write OR and they're like, you fucking Yankee. I'm like, oh, calm down.
Now we're going on to grammar here, so I guess it's time to knock this thing out. So guys, we're going to wrap it up here. So be sure to check us out at KocoSports.com, KOCOSports.com. Be sure to check out LK at Smark and Mark Radio. Pretty good podcast, worth checking out there. He also reviewed NXT TakeOver, so check that out. Now, if you're looking on there and you're not noticing a lot of things, it's not completely out of the ordinary. Coco's been on vacation. He's been, I don't know, what did he, I think he was sumo wrestling, to be honest. He just got into put on a jock strap and a sailor cap, and he was in the ring showing off his Spider-Man tattooed on his gooch and, going there pushing around fat Japanese guys. At least that's my theory. He was on vacation, and I'm having a hard time working Google Talks right now, so we missed out on that. So here's what we're going to do. Now that we reviewed all the Monday night shows this weekend, LK is going to join Coco, and We're going to do just a week in review. We're going to review NXT Takeover. We're going to review Raw. We're going to review SummerSlam. We're going to review SmackDown. We're going to review it all, do the whole week in review, and be sure to get your questions in. We're going to try to work in a Stump the Idiot. So have a lot of fun. Have a lot of fun with that. So in the meantime, be sure to check us out at KocoSports.com, KOCOSports.com. Your home for all combat sports. That includes boxing, mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling, taekwondo, kickboxing, judo. If you can get your nose broke doing it, we got you covered there on the site. Be sure to check out our news and gossip section, updated daily, along with our very popular video on demand section. It's KocoSports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. So, okay, thank you for joining us. Any words of wisdom before we depart?
No, just stay safe into internet infantry, and I'll catch your asses down the line.
All right, so this is Boom Boom, and for my partner Dave Coco, I am over.